Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood part number 132 by 70B in a US 10BE satin, well, not satin, but oil rubbed bronze equivalent is what this is. This is a pull plate combination. I'm going to remove it from the packaging. And while I'm doing that, this is US 10BE or 613E. That means that this is a equivalent finish, according to the factory, for oil rubbed bronze. And in layman's terms, this is a powder coated finish over what the factory will use as the least expensive base material when they powder coat. To give you an oil rub bronze type look. This is no different really than if they were going to do something that would be powder coated black or white or red or any color. Powder coat's just a paint really. But when they do an oil rub bronze equivalent, the factory has told me that they will use the least expensive base material. And when you order an oil rub bronze equivalent from Rockwood, they're going to use the least expensive base material. And in this case, it's aluminum. Even, both items, the 132 is aluminum. That's the 132, as is the 70B. They can powder coat anything, naturally. If you want a particular base material for them to powder coat, let's quote that. The problem that I can see right now is 10BE. 10B is oil rubbed, E is equivalent. Is that there's no inherent definition to determine the base material. So they really should have, let's say 3 designations of US 10BE. One will indicate aluminum, one will indicate brass or bronze, the other will indicate stainless steel. If it's an incredibly high volume use, I don't know that I want to have an aluminum base material used for my hardware. I might want stainless steel, or I might want a particular base material to be powder coated. Aluminum can be brittle. It will certainly not be as strong as something made of solid stainless. So if you want a particular base material, reach out to us. Let's quote that first. But the standing rule is the factory will use the least expensive base material when they're going to paint something, and that's what this is. So let's start over. This is a 132 by 70B. I do have the protective paper pulled back just so you can see what that finish looks like. The back side's going to look like this. Okay, we're going to put that back up. We don't want to damage the finish prior to the client receiving the material. We've got a couple of holes that you can see here, and that's going to be where your 132 is going to mount over. So that's what your pull plate's going to look like. So this is indeed a pull plate, and a nice thing that Rockwood does is when they put together a pull plate combination, they use the part number for the pull, and they use the part number for the plate, and they put those two numbers together. So it's a 132 by 70B. Other manufacturers will have a different part number to mean pull plus plate. Okay, what's the pull, what's the plate? This way is just simply easier, in my opinion, keeping you from having to memorize parts, I suppose, or refer to them automatically. Now, this is going to be a through bolt style. This would be called a Type 1 finish. Pardon me, a Type 1 mount. That's a 1/4 through bolt that you see there with these finish washers. And then, of course, the small little 6 by 5/8 oval undercut head sheet metal screws for attaching in those 6 holes that will be here. And those through bolts are literally going to go right through the door. Okay, it would be standard practice to drill a hole on the opposite side for the countersunk, the finish washer or countersunk washer to come through and be exposed. And if that's the case, let's be sure to order the push plates that already have those holes drilled so that you're not drilling them. Other people will simply try to countersink the face of the door and put the plate right over the bolt through the door, or they'll forego the through bolts altogether and just rely on those 6 sheet metal screws to hold the entire pull plate on. I don't recommend that at all. But they're meant to go through the door and to be exposed on the opposite side. Let's take some dimensional properties. The 132 is a 5.5 inch center pull, 5.5 inch center. The width is going to be about 7/8. The projection is about 1 3/4 inches, and they have a clearance of about 1 3/8 inches. Okay. This is a 70B. That means a couple of things. First of all, it's 50 thousandths thick, and that it's 3.5 wide and 15-inch tall. That's what a 70B means. Let's switch to the screen view where we can take a look at the supporting documentation. So this is the item that we're looking at. We do indeed have a 132 by 70B in that 10BE finish. Our extended description is down below, and we've covered all these points. Our center to center, the projection and the clearance. The projection, they say it's 1 7/8. My rude measuring with a tape measure showed it just to be shy of that. This is a 70B, so that means 3.5 by 15 and 50 thousandths thick. That plate is going to feature 4 beveled edges, which is standard for a push plate. You most certainly want to have a beveled edge on a piece of material and not just what would otherwise be most certainly a sharp edge. No doubt. Includes those fasteners, 6 by 5/8 oval head sheet metal screws, and the 1/4 through bolt with the finish washer supplied for an 1 3/4 inch thick door. If your door thicknesses other than 1 3/4 inch indicate in this field, 1 3/8 inches, 2 1/4, so that the length of the bolt can be supplied accordingly. Mounting options, they have the Type 1 listed here, which is 1/4 inch. I do not believe you can do this 132 in a Type 1 HD, and it's just simply because the material is not thick enough to do that larger diameter bolt size. So I'm going to reasonably conclude that Type 1 is the only size for a 132 pull. Then you have the product brochure, and that's a handy document because it will allow you to review other sister-related products to this door pull. As we scroll through, we're going to get to the 132, which is right here. They are indicating a base material option list as aluminum, brass, bronze, or stainless. This is most definitely an aluminum version that we're dealing with. 5.5 inch center. You can do it with a 70B or a 70C, and the plate is what changes. Both are very common. The 70B is... both are very common. I like the 4x16. In fact, I like a 6x16 because I think it's more conducive to the size of the hand that's pushing the door open. You'll notice that on a pull plate, you'll sometimes have wear marks on the side because it's just simply not wide enough. But when you increase the size of a plate back here, like on a push plate, now you've got a lot of hardware on the door, so that might not be what the ultimate aesthetic or design look that you'd like to achieve there. So be mindful. You can do either of these sizes. In fact, you can do any size you like. Rockwood will manufacture any size plate behind the 132 that you would like to see happen. Reach out to us for quoting on that. Other pull handle and plate combinations are in this catalog. These pitcher handles aren't very common at all. These colonial style, we sell those occasionally. The most common is going to be the 110, just a 1-inch diameter bar and an 8 or a 10-inch center, along with the series of D-shaped pulls here, and the difference is the diameter, where the 110 series is going to be a 1-inch diameter. You can do this in really any center that you want. I mean, literally any center that you want. So if you didn't want 10-inch, let's say you wanted, 16-inch, yeah, you can have that. If you have doors that are 8 foot or 9 foot tall, you're probably going to want hardware that's a bit taller as well. Rest assured, Rockwood can accommodate that. These base materials I mentioned earlier, you can also do on stainless steel. You can do that micro shield. that is going to be a coating that they'll put on the stainless steel that is a substantial inhibitor to the growth of bacteria, fungus, things of that nature, contagion. And you'll see that as standard practice specified in hospital scenarios. Anywhere where where there are sick people, MicroShield would be a great option as a coating on the hardware that you would otherwise be touching and grabbing. Now back to the manufacturer's item that we're looking at. There is a link to the manufacturer's page as seen here, and that link is going to allow us to not only take a look at all of the Rockwood products that we sell, but also a link to the website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Also, they have their full architectural door pull catalog. So in their full line catalog, you're going to see things, flat goods related, kick plates and push plates, a variety of different pull handles, push bars of every possible variation, it seems, door stops, and a variety of other door trim hardware that would go, such as edge pulls, decorative, not decorative, but specialty kick plates. You'll see things like this in movie theaters occasionally. Metal edges they can do as well, along with a variety of other specialty items, floor stops, wall stops. That link to the architectural door pull catalog is nice because it's 100+ pages of decorative, customized pulls that are in a variety of different base materials and different treatments. You can do leather wrapped, you can do wood infused, you can do architectural base materials like stainless, brass, or bronze, things of that nature. Really nice material. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, in conclusion, the name Rockwood is quite synonymous with all things trim and auxiliary hardware, and really what they have many strong suits. One of them is their absolute, almost eagerness to quote special projects. There was a recent publication from Assa Abloy, who owns Rockwood and all of her sister companies, that basically said, designers, if you can draw it on a piece of paper, send that sketch to us and we'll quote it. That tells me they have extreme manufacturing capability. They can really accommodate a request, and the only time that they will quote an alternate is when they literally don't have the machine to do it, I think. And I don't bump into that very often. I've had them manufacture things for me from sketches multiple times in the past, and they always do a superb job. Their customer service is phenomenal. Their quality is phenomenal. Their quote turnaround time is, like atomic clockwork, as is their shipping as well. Any questions on the 132 by 70B in a US 10BE finish or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.